The New Patriotic Party is at a junction where it is looking for a new leader. Having gone into the elections of 2024 and being defeated in a massive defeat not seen since 1992 perhaps, the party is trying to rebuild, and in rebuilding the contest is, should we field the same candidate we went into 2024 with, or we should bring a new candidate? That's the question that MPP people are asking themselves. Now, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the former flag bearer, former vice president of the party, led the party into that election. From all indications, we get the sense he intends to run again. But he's going to face stiff competition. Now, competition is coming from someone who placed second in the last time they went into that election to elect a flag bearer as a party. The Honorable Kennedy Ohene-Ejapong, who has decided not to return to Parliament for the Asin Central constituency. His agenda now is solely to hold the flag of the NPP. Of course, there are others who are seeking the campaign too, the hold the flag of the NPP. The Honorable Brian Champong and the former member of Parliament for Mampong, who has done this so many times, Francis Adainimo, we are told, is interested. Of course, the Honorable Ejapong has been mentioned, and several other persons who are interested in going for this particular race, the Honorable Patrick Boama and other members. Tonight, we are focusing on the Kennedy Ejapong campaign, and we're going to speak to someone who is in the heart of that particular campaign. Now, that someone served as a minister in the Akufo-Addo administration. I am Umaru Sanda Amadu, and on Face to Face, when I come back from this break, I introduce my guest. Please stay. My guest on Face to Face served as a deputy CEO in the first term of the Akufo-Addo administration. Subsequently, he was given the task of running one of the new ministries, new regions that were created. The Akufo-Addo administration in 2018 created 6 new regions, the Western North, one of them. And President Akufo-Addo in 2021 sent this man to go and be his representative there. The Honorable Joojo Rocky Obeng is my guest. You're welcome to Face to Face.
Thank you, Umaru, for having me.
How are you doing?
I am great. And yourself?
I'm fine. Oh, just out of curiosity, are you part of the Pastor T.B. Joshua Church? You have a haircut like him. I think your demeanor. Are you a T.B. Joshua Church member?
I fellowship with the Anglican Church.
Okay. You don't do T.B. Joshua?
No.
So you sort of look. Has anyone said to you that your haircut sometimes looks like him?
Not that I'm aware.
Then I'm the only one.
Perhaps.
Start asking people.
I will.
How are you doing?
I'm great.
How was the journey to Western North and back? That's your home region, right?
Excellent. Not many of our people get the opportunity, to be in the public space and be given the sort of confidence, to steer the affairs of an enclave, a territory, on behalf of an entire government. And so once you get endowed with this opportunity, it is one that never leaves you. And it's such a wonderful experience going to the Western North region to serve as the regional minister for the region and on behalf of the government of the New Patriotic Party there.
So, were you the youngest minister at the time? Because you're a young guy, aren't you?
That's what the record said at the time.
Okay.
But now, a lot more have come after that.
Younger people have been appointed.
Yes.
But otherwise, so in the last term of Akufo-Addo, you were the youngest minister in his government?
That was
based
what
based on everything you know.
The record said.
Wow.
No, the youngest regional minister.
Oh, okay.
Because I know I have some colleagues who were in the sector, and I'm very much aware that they
are younger than you.
Yes, I'm a big brother.
But when it comes to regional ministers, you are the youngest regional minister.
And that portfolio, it came to light that way because that portfolio, as you are aware, often it's a reserve for folks in the twilight of the business of politics. So for the first time, and His Excellency dispatching a relatively younger person there, that caught the attention of everyone.
But they didn't bully you. Did you have like a regional minister's caucus? They didn't bully a small boy, sit down, small boy, don't talk. They didn't treat you like that?
No, so I'm sure you are aware that issues to do with governance, okay, even the presidency, okay, these are matters that become a subject of content, not so much a subject of how long one has spent on the face of this earth and all of that. So based on the content and interactions we have, you wouldn't even develop the sense that you are perhaps dealing with someone you are a year or two older than. It's about the content that they present.
So are you from Western North? Is that what, because I know that there were times that the governments reshuffle ministers. For instance, the man from Upper West was taken and sent to Upper East, and the man from Upper East. Do you have to necessarily have to come from a region to be made regional minister? In this particular instance, were you from that region, or you were just sent there to go and do this job?
So let me start from where I come from. Yes, I am an indigene of the Western North region. Okay.
Which town?
Enchi.
Enchi, oh,
Enchi.
okay.
Okay. So here's the thing. The president that we elect has a mandate to deliver governance to the people. And in so doing, he has to pay attention to some sectors of the economy. You have your finance, your agriculture, your health, defense. These are all sectors of the economy that we have entrusted the mandate to the president to help enrich whatever responsibilities those ministries must deliver. But the president must also, along the same thought pattern, have people in the various territories, okay, territorial ministries of a sort, to oversee happenings and coordinate government business over there, okay, which is why we have in our governance architecture the regional minister portfolio. So it is not something that you can argue that it must necessarily be given to someone who hails from that jurisdiction, but it's a case of competent in delivering service to a people. So I may be an indigene of the Western North region, but if in the wisdom of a president that I could better oversee the Volta region, Greater Accra region, Ashanti region, Upper West, Upper East region, based on the issues at the time, perhaps you need a relatively younger person to go in there and express the vision, the plans, and coordinate. If that becomes the priority of the government of the day, I think that's what the Constitution prescribes. It doesn't place any limit on the president. It doesn't at all. That the person must necessarily hail from that region. If you recall, in the last but 2 years of His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, there was a swap. The Upper East Regional Minister, Honorable Yakubu, had to take the place of the Upper West Regional Minister, and then he had to. And I think they exited office in that manner. And we also...
Yeah. You have gotten connected, which means you have joined Kennedy Japan's campaign. I'll talk to you about that. I would also ask you what you went to do in the region or what you brought from the region. But before then, who is Joojo Rocky Obeng? Who are you? I mean, how did you end up in government? How did you become deputy CEO? How did you become regional minister? Were you a party officer at maybe a ward, a branch? Who are you? And what do you do? What's your business?
As you may be aware, there are two ways to get into the public service. Okay. Some start from the local government service, the civil service, and eventually, with time, they grow into occupy positions within the public service. Then the Constitution also allows for a president to make appointments of persons from the private sector or even within the public service to occupy some space within the public space. Yes, I come from a background I come from the private sector as a businessman, but then a very active member of the New Patriotic Party. I've served as a Deputy National Research and Elections Officer. Okay. Yes, and I've also, in my days as a student at the University of Ghana, a very active member of TESCON. And to take you to the very base of all this journey, the New Patriotic Party, when it was being formed in 1992, it wasn't the most attractive brand at the time to boldly come out to associate with, because there was a military regime that we were transitioning back into a democracy. And so for a lot of people who wanted certain change to happen, they were somewhat scared to come out boldly to associate with the New Patriotic Party then. But my family in Enchi donated our family property to be used as the first ever party office for the New Patriotic Party for Awowin and Swaman constituency.
Really?
Yes. So that's the story.
That could possibly explain why you have given a huge building to Kennedy Pond in East Legon to use as his office. But we'll talk about that later. So continue. What kind of business? Are you a businessman?
Yes,
are you a medical doctor? What's your profession?
Yes, so I started with JP Morgan Chase as a derivative analyst.
Okay.
I traded on the New York Stock Exchange, later sent to Johannesburg, the African office, and then worked there for some time. Moved back to Ghana, set up real estate business, Heaven Homes Ghana Limited, and then set up a discount company, International Settlement Consortium, ISC, and then a lot more that we've been exploring. I brought Bitoptech to Ghana, and so every product of Bitoptech had to come through my setup and all of that.
And then you got appointed by Akufo-Addo in 2017. You went to deputy. So that's your first public office as National Youth Authority.
Excellent.
That didn't end very well, really. But then you retained. You bounced back.
You and mischief.
But you bounced back. You bounced back because you became a regional minister, which is like a higher portfolio. Yes. And did you expect to be a regional minister when Akufo-Addo won in 2020?
So to have such a direct expectation in politics is dangerous. Okay. It's not advisable, because your place is to serve your party, and you serve your party faithfully. You serve your party with all the strength and might that is within you. And once you do so genuinely, I'm sure that once the appointing authority takes good notice of that, and they find you worthy to occupy a certain space, then they can assign you. So I don't think there was a point in time where I had in mind that I must necessarily be appointed to the office of a regional minister. Not at all. But what I had all along was to find whatever means I could to serve the New Patriotic Party, serve the base of our party, and serve the top as well of our party in a way that we are able to deliver political success and also good governance to the
So when the president called you and said, come, I want to give you this job, how did he feel like? I want you to go and represent me in Western North. I want you to be in Secretary also and run affairs for me.
So, Mr. President, as we can all attest to his tenure in office, is someone who had so much faith in a lot of young people. And sometimes when I try to think about it, I'm able to better understand it after I've left office. Because some of the things I was able to engineer for my region, I've got to be brutally honest with you, I perhaps may not have had that much energy if I were in my twilight and appointed to the office. And that is not to suggest that folks who are in their twilight may not come to the office with some measure of energy. But here's the thing. President Akufo-Addo naturally comes out as that president who has faith in the young, politically active part of his party base. He gave a lot of us opportunity. A lot of us sent into a chief executive position. A lot sent into ministerial and deputy ministerial position. it was just natural that I would be part of the team he will call. And so for me, that was what happened.
So you're excited, but of course you also knew that would be a big challenge. It's a new region, lot of demands, and it's a region far from Accra, Western North. It's far from Accra, and which means before you can come and carry the lobby and get the development from here and take it there, it's far. What did you leave behind as a legacy when you got that job as Western Regional Minister, serving there for 4 years, representing the President Secretary also? What if I went to the region today, would they say to me, this is the legacy of our former regional minister, and this this is what he did, and we commend him for that?
We can segment that into 2 parts.
Okay.
Let's look at the infrastructure side, and then we can look at the social, psychological, aspect of human development and community development. So, one thing that fought the people of the Western North region before I got there had to do with good roads. And sadly, anytime the media houses in Accra had to pull from their database a file depicting a not so good road, out of the 5, one was always going to come from my region. So with this understanding and knowing that that part of Ghana has, since colonial days, is been the part designated for the extractive industry. Massive cocoa growing, massive mining. You have bauxite mining taking place there. You have gold. You have the Bibiani gold mines, the Chirano gold mines. You have the Awaso bauxite. Then you have tons of timber firms.
And manganese, right?
Yeah, manganese is in the very south of the west. Okay. The timber firms over there.
And rubber?
Yes, rubber.
You have rubber.
So
so you're a very rich region.
I'm coming. What it does to a location like that is that you have movement of a lot of heavy duty equipment. And don't forget that it is that part of Ghana that receives a lot of rain. So naturally, if you talk to engineers, that constructing road in an enclave like that is a bit challenging, and it costs more than doing it in other parts of Ghana, because you have to factor in the kind of cars that will ply the road. You have to factor in the fact that it received nearly a year long of rainfall. And with all of this, that means the kind of engineering that goes into the road construction in Western North actually takes a lot of resources, for which reason there were lots more of road not done. So when I was going in there, the whole plan was to try as much as possible to convince the center, President Akufo-Addo's government and his finance minister and the roads ministers, that look, we have to also understand that it is a haulage center. So much as we look at the figures about a kilometer of road and it's suggesting that it could do 5 kilometers elsewhere, for which reason government after government after government, these very vital roads, important roads are left undone. Maybe, Mr. President, if you could come along with me in a respectful way, then we can address a lot of this. And guess what? I'm coming. Guess what? The president committed so much. So one of the things that people in the Western North region will associate in terms of infrastructure to me is that under my tenure in office, we constructed not less than 600 kilometers of road. 600 kilometers of road. Yes.
Between what towns?
I'm coming. The Enchi to Dadieso stretch. Terrible road at the time, fixed. Sefiyoso Town Road, fixed. Sefibuako to Ahafo, Sankore Road, fixed. Bibiani Town Road, fixed. Awaso Town Roads under construction, but we had done some massive earthwork, okay? And a lot more.
And these happened when you were regional minister?
Yes. Dadieso to Dwaboso Road. And these are all trunk roads, okay? Then some of the town roads that we
outside
did.
road, which other infrastructure? Education, did you do anything?
Of course, we have had to look at the various sectors. If naturally, as a region, one of our core duties as a regional minister is to secure the peace and stability of your territory for the president. And before I got there, we didn't have a military barracks. So if I needed military personnel to support in keeping peace and order, I had to fall on colleague regional ministers from Western, mostly, because the Southern commanding officer was overseeing my place. Okay, so they had to travel all the way from Sekondi Takrady to come and support. But I engineered for us to have a military base there at Punikro, it's in a town not too far from Sefiwi also. And also, we were about completing a regional police command and a regional police command residential facility as well, just to, so in terms of infrastructure.
That's security. Education, did you do anything?
Yes, education.
There was something you were doing
Yes,
about
education,
desks.
we've got one of the model schools at Awaso, one of the model schools that His Excellency the President put in some of the regions. Which looks, a lot of people say they look like universities.
I remember you were doing something around furniture for schools. The President Mahama has said that we should start moving away from furniture in our schools so that we can save our forests. As someone from a forest region, I don't know, what's your view on that? Briefly before we take a break.
And what is the alternative?
Plastic, metals. Actually, metals is what I think he said.
Maybe his team will have to explore a little bit more, because in the timber industry, they have what they refer to as the waste wood, which to you and I, it is actually not waste wood. Okay. And most of those supposedly waste wood, what came to help me support my region by reducing the desk and chair deficit over there. Do you understand? So if His Excellency President Mahama is looking at options not to perhaps dwell more on cutting down trees and all of that, I would advise at this stage that the team around him should do some more search. They would perhaps come to the same knowledge that there's so much that we can do with what is termed as waste wood, okay, in terms of building furniture, building tables for teachers and
that's what you did. About how many desks were you able to produce?
So there was a total desk deficit of nearly 70,000. Can you imagine at the time? Yes. But by the time I left office, we had between 10 to 15,000. You never have an absolute figure because here you build them, you give them to kids, and most of them, kids, they have to explore life, and in doing so cause damage to, you are never ever going to get an absolute figure staying still all the time.
Well, this is Channel 1 Television. The show is Face to Face. I am Umaru Sanda Amadu. My guest is the Honorable Joojo Obeng. He was a Western North Regional Minister under the last term of the Akufo-Addo administration. He's back to Accra, and I'm just asking him what are the things he's brought back in his goodies to report to the president and say, hey, you sent me to Sefiwi, so this is what I've brought back. But there's another thing. He has decided to ditch the president. And when I say ditch the president, he's supporting a candidate other than the one that the president groomed from 2008 as running mate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, through to becoming vice president. I'll ask him, did you tell Adodi that, Mr. P, I'm leaving your vice president too. I'm going to get connected? And what has President Akufo-Addo said to him? And we'll ask him, why are you supporting Kennedy Japan in this campaign? Please stay with us.
Imagine waking up to serenity every day, surrounded by nature's beauty and luxury at your fingertips in a gated estate you can be proud to call your home. Welcome to Western Villas, located at Ayi Mensa, where our stunning homes redefine elegance. At Western Villas, each home is a masterpiece, designed with precision and love. From swimming pool, gym, playground, beautiful landscaped gardens and private balconies, making every day feel like a retreat. We also have executive plots for sale at McCarthy Hill, strategically located and offer unparalleled views, easy access to amenities, and endless possibilities for executive living. With just 5% deposit, you can reserve your space. Contact us today to learn more about our luxury homes at Ayi Mensa or executive plots at McCarthy Hill. Call us now on 0536 502295 or visit www.westernvillas.com for more information.
You're welcome back. This Face to Face on Channel 1 Television. I am Umaru Sanda Amadu. My guest is the Honorable Joojo Obeng, who has joined the Kennedy Ejapong campaign team. Joojo, you're welcome to Face to Face, the second edition or second part of this discussion.
Thank you.
Why did you go Kennedy Ejapong? And before you tell me that, did you tell Mr. President, and I mean, you call him Mr. P, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, that you are leaving his protege to go and support somebody else? And what did he say?
So let's situate this aspect of our conversation in context. Okay, we as a nation have elected to be governed in a democratical way. Okay, what that suggests is that political parties will have to compete among themselves for the mandate of the people. And what it is also is that political parties by themselves have also designed same democratic system to allow members within their fold to resort to that to select leadership. So it's got it's got nothing to do with ditching, like you put it. Have you ditched? Have you moved? No, it's not even a case to do with camps. But for some reasons, the traditional media has managed to coin these words for what we do. But from where I sit, my understanding is that the New Patriotic Party has set of rules that govern members within that party. And in that party, the rule says that there will come a time for members to avail themselves to become leaders in so many areas, at the constituency level, at the electoral area level, at the regional level, and the national level. And when that time comes, if you are a member in good standing, put yourself up and go and solicit the support of other members. So if you look at it this way, you are looking at more of a family affair governed by rules that we have all agreed to abide by. So yes, there is going to be a contest. We have to necessarily either put ourselves up, as people may have to put themselves up, and what it also suggests is that the same people within the New Patriotic Party family will have to make choices, because per the rules and our constitution, it doesn't allow an NDC person to participate in our elections. And I can make the same concession for the NDC, that they will also not accept for an MPP registered member to participate in their internal election to select their leaders. So I'm coming. On that score, whatever is happening, for which reason you gave it that description, is for me a family affair. New Patriotic Party people, it's a season for us to select new leadership, and it is only going to be New Patriotic Party people who will make choices and say, I prefer leader A, not necessarily suggesting that leader B is a bad one, but it could be that in the family, based on the happenings and based on the times, I think that if we take Umaru now, part of the city family who are covering next year, our good friend, the cameraman, excellent at what he does. But for talking to people and asking them questions and looking at the times now, I think Umaru has to lead. It doesn't mean cameraman is not good as a leader in the scheme of things. Because when he leaves that seat and gives you the chance to do it, maybe you take one of the horrible shots in your whole life. I
promise you, I will even do photojournalism. I'm a horrible photographer. My question is, President Akufo-Addo is a key figure in the New Patriotic Party.
Yes.
You served in his government.
Yes.
So you are seen as a group or a team of Akufo-Addo when they used to say Akufo-Addo camp. Now that you're going to choose somebody, you are an independent and free-minded human being, but did you not need his permission to say, I am leaving? Did you have to tell him that I'm leaving, or you just have to move? How does it work?
You know, so everybody, including all those who have declared their intention to run if the party opens nomination, Okay, they all in one way or the other, they are members of the New Patriotic Party, but in one way or the other had so much to do with Akufo-Addo's government. Do you understand it? Do you understand it? And Akufo-Addo being our leader, our president and the leader of the party for those many years, okay, understands that a time will come for a contest to show itself up. And some of his cabinet ministers may decide to perhaps take a position, okay, that may be at variance with some other cabinet ministers, okay. So you may have noticed that some colleague ministers have already gone out there to suggest that party A, candidate A or B would be good based on their judgment. President Akufo-Addo has this excellent understanding of how his former ministers must operate. And so the issue to do with must it necessarily be in line perhaps with what people suspect to be the president's choice. As at now, we all know before the 2024 election, President Akufo-Addo was solidly behind our leader and flag bearer, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Okay, we've been into a contest. We've come out in a manner that we actually didn't like at all. That is what is on the table. And we are all doing introspection, trying to find out how best we can all decide, make decisions to solidify the base of the party. Because every party, for you to have any chance in any election, your foremost consideration has to be strengthening the base. It is the pad, your launching pad. That is from where you do the takeoff. So whatever decisions that is going on, if you ask me, it is viewed from there that I have to make a decision that goes to strengthen the base of our party.
So why Kennedy Japan? And not Brian Champon? And not Honorable Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia? And not Francis Adai-Nemo? Why Kennedy Japan? Why is that the person you have decided to support as a former regional minister or a former minister in the Akufo-Addo government?
So, because of what happened, and as I've already indicated to you that the starting point for political victory is your political party. Okay. You have to understand the mindset of the party base. Okay, you have to make time to understand what is the mindset and to a greater extent the expressions and the feelings of the party base. Okay, what is it that they are seeking from the leadership so that they can come back stronger and be competitive in election. So I have had time as a former regional minister. I spent some good time in the region interacting with party people, interacting with party leadership, interacting with party sympathizers. And it is only proper that you take these deep-seated concerns on board. If you really want to move our party forward, you cannot afford to ignore these deep-seated concerns by party activists, party leadership at the base.
What are they saying to you? What are the concerns?
The concern for most of them is that they would want this time around someone that they can, without blinking, pass a judgment, not to say they may be the only person, but pass a judgment to say that this person understands our concerns. This person can understand our concerns better than the other person, because this person from their past engagement, take for instance, Honorable Kennedy Ohene Ejipon. Everybody within the New Patriotic Party architecture knows that the party base, the base of our party, from the polling station to the electoral areas all the way to the constituency executives and sympathizers, if there is one figure that they deem as the figure who more or less understands and moves towards addressing some of their concerns, I think he's one person nobody in the New Patriotic Party can, if we are looking for persons in the New Patriotic Party that fit this description, is one person that you cannot.
But he went into the primaries, and these same people didn't vote for him. They voted for somebody else. Could it mean that, well, he has done so well, so perhaps he has not done as well as Dr. Bawumia? That's why they gave the mantle to Dr. Bawumia, and there's a likelihood that they'll give it to him again instead of your candidate who you think is better?
No, so I think that, I worked for Dr. Bawumia.
Okay, you did work for Akufo-Addo.
Yes.
If by extension, you work for Bawumia, and that's why I use the word ditch, but you don't agree.
But I know I worked for Akufo-Addo.
Okay.
As president of Ghana.
Yeah.
But as candidate and flag bearer of my party,
Okay.
Dr. Bawumia,
Okay.
I worked diligently for him.
You mean in the last election?
Yes.
Okay.
He's aware.
Okay.
He's aware that I did work diligently for him, together with the party structure in the region.
So it's not personal?
Okay. I'm coming there. There's nothing personal here. So here's the thing. You have to come to a certain level of humility that merely because Kennedy Ejapong was not given a chance to lead does not necessarily mean that the times which have changed will not grant him the chance to lead. Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, at the time, the election 2024, we felt that he would give John Mahama and the NDC a real contest because of the trump cards that displayed around him. Because the NDC as a party has a base. The NDC as a party has a base. And it is our goal is to eat into that base and add to our base so that we can win election. And the election of 2024 made a stronger case for Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. But post-election 2024, the party base and the elections that are ahead of us, in my considered view, are making a much, much stronger case for Kennedy Ohene Ejapong. Umaru, this is how I look at it. Take, for instance, you have a football club where you have Ronaldo and Messi, both in that club. You go for first game, and Ronaldo, a very good player, Messi too, a very good player, but on that day, Ronaldo wasn't in the best of form. If you ask Ronaldo to sit down for Messi to play in the next game, does that suggest that Ronaldo is not a good player?
The only problem I have with your analogy is that it should have been Messi rather who misbehaved and not Ronaldo.
Whichever
yeah, so,
way
does
it suggest that?
Let me ask you a question. You played a key role for Dr. Bawumia in the campaign, like you said. What would you say to people watching us to say, let me speak tree, my tree is bad. Udi Bawumia and Hyambo Ewo original, like you did not do a good job, and that you and other people who had critical roles to play for Dr. Bawumia did not do the job well for him because you wanted him to lose the election, and then you go and truly declare your interest because at the time you couldn't have gone against him because you're in government, but now that you have gone into opposition, you can truly show your color. What would you say to criticism like that, that you did him in so that he would lose the election and then you choose your candidate?
So critics can be put into two groups. Mm-hmm. Some critics could hold this view, and the objective for holding the view is perhaps to sow a seed of discord within the New Patriotic Party. Okay. There could be one group of critics who could hold this very, very false view, that a regional minister who was working so hard for his flag bearer could have that in mind. We could have critics who can be put in that category. The objective is not to help the New Patriotic Party unite and be strong. They may come up with this type of criticism to essentially sow more seeds of discord within the New Patriotic Party. I do not identify with these critics, and I do not accept such criticism.
So you will not accept that?
But there could be those who may have a good intention to know why, which is why I explained to you that the times often have a key influence on who becomes the ideal candidate to lead a party and a nation. You know that there have been some precedents all over the world that some people, based on things that have happened in the past, could not believe that their people can elect them to those high offices. You know, the closest, the most common we know is the case of Donald Trump. A lot of people say that there's no way an American democracy would elect a Donald Trump to become their president. But he was elected, and he's been twice elected into that high office. So the times in which we find ourselves is dictating to the leadership and the base of the party which of the people to put in the game to play for us to win.
Do you think Kennedy Agyapong is your own version of Donald Trump in the New Patriotic Party and perhaps in Ghana? Is that your thinking? Is that what you are trying to say?
No, Kennedy Agyapong is Kennedy Agyapong. Someone who cares deeply about the New Patriotic Party base. Someone who has done a lot of interventions, significant interventions. Party people who are faced with life-threatening challenges. They know that once they get access to Kennedy Agyapong, they have their issues sorted out. So Kennedy Agyapong remains Kennedy Agyapong of Ghana, Kennedy Agyapong of the New Patriotic Party.
I have seen Bawumia supporters write on social media and say, listen, Bawumia is the candidate we can sell because he's already known from 2008. He's been on the ballot before. It's easy to go for Lai Momo than to go and bring a new person you don't know. What do you say to that criticism or that comment?
A comment that...
a comment that Dr. Bawumia has been sold to the population already. He's an easier candidate to sell than a new candidate. And that in the past, Atamils tried 3 times, Akufo-Addo tried so many times, John Mahama tried so many times, and so Bawumia should also be allowed to try so many times so that he can lead you. And that is a better choice. What would you say to such criticism?
So what I would tell them is to listen to the base of our party. Because I said from the beginning, your strength in a political contest is tied, is woven, neatly woven, tied to the base of your party. Okay, so what is the base of the party saying? And it is the larger base of the party that will in the end make this decision. So for those who hold that view, let us continue to engage. Let us allow space. And let us not be highly opinionated in a manner that overrides the views held by the base of the party. If the base of the party suggests that we go with candidate A, we will go with candidate A. If the base of the party suggests that it is Kennedy Agyapong's time, we have a responsibility to come together as the New Patriotic Party to present him and win the election, which I believe that if we present him, we'll win the next election.
So for you, you see that the base wants Kennedy Agyapong, and that's why you are following this particular campaign. And that is what's going to win you the election in 2028. That is your view.
The view that I hold is much, much bigger than that.
Okay.
But you see, you have to put them in segments.
Okay.
Kennedy Agyapong is, with all that we know, is a very strong personality, very courageous man. And if you look at the state where we are in our governance life, we need a leadership who are very bold and can come up with bold solution, can come up with solution that sort of displaces the current governance architecture. And I see Kennedy Agyapong as that one person seeking the high office as flag bearer of a party who's got that much courage. Umaru, let me just share this with you. We've had president after president after president. But some of the things that I deeply feel we need to do to bring real change, economic change to our people, okay, some of them, the manner in which we have structured our governance system, would not allow for them to happen at the rate that the people expect that to happen. And you will need a leader. Say, for instance, Kumasi, by every indicator, whichever indicators one require to label the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, as our national commercial capital. Kumasi has it.
That's what you want?
I'm coming. Kumasi has it. Kumasi has an international airport, has the largest open market in West Africa, has one of the most respected monarchy in the whole of the African continent cited there. When you have the courage to declare, say, for instance, Kumasi, the Ashanti regional capital, has to be Ghana's commercial capital. What that does is that you drive economic activities there.
And collapse Accra. Your plan is to collapse Accra?
No, not at all. Far from that. Jettison that idea. We have Lagos and Abuja. Has Lagos collapsed Abuja? Has Lagos collapsed Abuja? We have Abidjan and Yamoussoukro. Has Abidjan collapsed Yamoussoukro? We have New York and Washington, D.C. Has New York collapsed Washington, D.C.? What they have done to those countries is that they drive further energy to unleash. You see,
so
Kumasi,
for you, let's make Kumasi our commercial capital. Even though we have it, just as not written in document, but I mean, we do know that a lot of commercial activities are
so but for that to happen, you need a legislation to formalize that, and you need bold leadership.
Very well.
You need bold leadership.
When you use the word or the phrase bold leadership, I am seeing Dr. Baumia rather than Kennedy Japong. Is it the case that you are going to borrow his term and use it in your campaign?
No, so
bold solutions.
We are talking about a man who would be ready to, as it is now, okay, look at the governance architecture of our country and says that since the Fourth Republic, we have played with this and it is not working.
Okay.
Let us set it aside.
Well.
That, for me, is a mark of boldness.
I have a question for you.
And it is not limited to an individual.
I have a question, but I'll take it when you come back from the break. And that question has to do with the bottom-up or top-bottom approach, which has been trending lately since the MPP announced that it's going to elect a flag bearer in 2021. What does the Kennedy Japong camp think of that? Are they happy? Are they angry? What is the way forward? Please stay with us.
This June, the business wave is back and it's bigger than ever. The City Business Festival 2025 on City FM and Channel 1 TV, where it's all about business. This June, we will be celebrating Ghanaian businesses, re-examining our business modules and practices through our business fora, and sharing knowledge through our on-air business discussions. Make a business date with the on-air series every weekday at 9 a.m. on the City Breakfast Show on 97.3 City FM and 10 a.m. on Breakfast Daily on Channel 1 TV. From expert interviews to real-world insights to the tools you need to grow. Don't miss a single moment this June. It's the City Business Festival 2025, celebrating everything business. Only on City FM and Channel 1 TV. Your business, your future, your time is now. Stay tuned, stay inspired, and let's grow together. The City Business Festival 2025, celebrating everything business.
The City Business Festival 2025 is powered by 97.3 City FM and Channel 1 TV, and it's proudly sponsored by Absa Bank, MTN Business, and Zonda Tech Ghana Limited.
You're welcome back to Face to Face on Channel 1 Television. My guest is Joojo Rocky Obeng. The party has announced that you are going to go to the polls to elect a flag bearer first before the remaining executives. What does Kennedy Japong think of that?
I think yesterday on Saturday, when the constituency chairman caucus met in Kumasi, he had the chance to address all the constituency chairmen, and he made his views known And it's so grounded in the tradition of the New Patriotic Party. We hold the strong view that we've suffered one of our worst electoral defeat, and the approach to coming out stronger from that kind of a situation is to address the matters from the base of the party. That is my strongest belief, that we have to go to the base of the party and ask them, from all that happened, what is the new sense of direction do you people want us to chart? And let that lead us from the polling station level to electoral areas, to constituencies and the various regions. So by the time we get to the very top, we would have treated ourselves so well. The risk we run by adopting the top-down approach, I honestly do not think Honorable Kennedy Ohene Japan, whether it is top-down or down to top or whichever label it will be given, is not going to win this election. He's going to win, whether it is top to down or down to top. But here is the thing. We are looking beyond winning an internal contest. The focus is on healing the party. And for us to heal the party, the suggestion is let's start from there. Otherwise, if you're not going to get Kennedy Japan as the leader of the party who holds this strong view, then after electing a flag bearer, and then you go back to the base to now start your election, you already have the ceiling. Umaru has been elected the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party. Umaru doesn't like the cameraman who is running to be constituency chairman. Doesn't like the person running to be regional secretary. For which reason they can deploy a system that will bring pain and bitterness in the heart of that party person. And they will not be eager to sacrifice, to volunteer for the party to gain the strength needed to be competitive in an election. For which reason we are suggesting that let us not have that big daddy eye at the top, threatening left, right, center, that you didn't support me when I was running for the office of flag bearer, and you want to be constituency chairman. You didn't support me, and you want to be regional secretary. You
see that happening?
But that, Umaru, you are very familiar with our political system. You see how people, try their best to deploy resources in support of persons they perceive having worked for them.
But even if you want to do the base before, you can still have these daddies supporting their children, and then these children will in turn elect them. That also happens.
But the bigger question is that is it the top to down or the down to top that caused our defeat?
It's not.
The issue is that party people have expressed concerns that some things needs to be done right for us to wear our MPP spirit in high spirit. So for that to happen, common sense and basic wisdom suggest that let us have the conversation from there, and address the matters and bring it up.
You've talked about you have to make the party attractive. You have to take votes from the NDC base and all of that. In doing that, you need a certain character to lead you. The Kennedy Japan character, you are certain that that's a character that can give you a national appeal. He's a maverick. He is seen as a difficult person. He is seen as someone who just takes decisions. He is seen as someone who is insulting. He is seen in different lights. You, Rocky Obeng, you look calm, you look quiet. Are you sure you can work with a person like Kennedy Japan? And do you think a person like Kennedy Japan would be appealing to the nation, not just MPP base?
So we have been blessed with a lot of presidents, in the Fourth Republic. And so maybe we can start a conversation from there. Umaru, I don't think any of our presidents, from Jerry John Rawlings up to the current one, John Dramani Mahama. I don't think when you sit with them one-on-one this way and ask them, Mr. President, are you a man that passes the bill as a righteous man? I don't think any of them can pass that test of righteousness. What it required of all of us Ghanaians to aspire to the high office of presidency is patriotism. It's being patriotic. In terms of the righteousness and all of these, if you ask me, I may have you describe me as a very calm, a person with a calm outlook and all of that. But I wouldn't say I'm a perfect gentleman. I wouldn't say it. I have flaws that I have to attempt all the time. Say it. I have flaws that I have to attempt all the times to address them. But stop me from ever aspiring to be in a public office? No. So what is important, what is key to the conversation of who can be our president has to be about patriotism. Who is fighting for the young people of our country? Who is seeking the office solely to try and change things that we have lived with for so long, that we are getting very little or no benefit from? That, for me, should lead the conversation. And is Kennedy Ejapong very patriotic? Excellent patriot.
Very well.
He is somebody you and I know. You go to 37 Hospital. He's building a whole cardiothoracic center in millions of dollars. You know the many interventions he's made to change lives, to save lives. And you know the many things he's even spoken against his own party and against the opposition then. That is patriotism. Okay. Shouldn't that be the number one thing we should be talking about?
Finally, before we go, I see on social media that you donated a property to him as a birthday gift and also to use as his party headquarters. What else are you bringing to the campaign? That's a huge thing, isn't it? And what else are you, confirm that for me first of all, that you gave him an office, and also what else are you bringing to his campaign?
So I think our earlier conversation got me to disclose that even at the formation stage of our party, my family gave the first property as an office for the Awowin Swaman constituency as a party office. For me, it is just a second attempt at trying to do what the family indoctrinated me to do, that once the party endows you, never depart from that culture. Whichever means you can, try your best to do so. I see Kennedy Ohene Ejapong is doing quite a lot to organize the base of the party. And I've been to his office. He's got a huge office, far, far bigger than the one that I donated. Massive office. But then I say, look, this is what I can also give to him, so that we can compartmentalize the whole agenda of prosecuting a successful campaign. So that is just one act of benevolence. It is also part of what I have designed to reach out to the base of our party, to get to be part of the changing mindset, to draw more political power within the new patriotic party for Kennedy Ohene Ejapong by mobilizing the business community and mobilizing the young people of our country for them to understand that one of their own, a businessman who's doubled in business and politics for decades and has been very successful at both ends, has been successful by growing businesses, employ more than 7,000 people. And it's also been successful in the public space by championing patriotism. Okay? So I am on a mission to help organize the business community and organize the young people of our country to support that cause.
Honorable Joojo Obeng, thank you so much for joining us on Face to Face.
Thank you, Umaru. Thank you so much.
It's been nice speaking to you. So that's the Honorable Joojo Obeng, former Western North Regional Minister, who is a member of the Kennedy Ejapong campaign team. You can say he has connected. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadu. This has been Face to Face on Channel 1 Television. We'll be back next week with more. Please stay.